Now we'll look at nervous tissue. So we have the central nervous system, or the CNS, which is comprised of our brain and spinal cord, and that's where human movement is initiated, controlled, and monitored. And then we have the peripheral nervous system, or the PNS, which is on the right side, which you can see as branching nerves outside of the spinal cord. We have 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pair of spinal nerves that radiate throughout our body for sensory and motor purposes. A neuron is a functional unit of the nervous system. Motor neurons carry signals to the muscles, right? And they cause motion. Sensory neurons carry signals back to the central nervous system to kind of monitor the environment, pain, movement, etc. A motor neuron has the soma, or the body of the cell, and it's situated in the anterior horns of the spinal cord. It has dendrites, which project out of the cell body and serve as the receivers. And they synapse with sensory neurons. And then you have the axon, which is the long fiber, which branches out from the spinal cord to the terminal branch, or the end of the nerve. We have alpha motor neurons, which are large, rapidly transmitting neurons. We have, they're myelinated, which is kind of like an insulation. We have Schwann cells, which are the insulation um, around specific sections. And then we have these nodes of Ranvier, which are gaps. And these gaps are theorized to increase the transmission speed. Their neuromuscular junction, and that's where these motor nerves end at the muscle. Very special places at the muscle called the neuromuscular junction. And then they form a synapse, which is a small gap between the terminal branch of the neuron and the muscle. Sensory neurons, they're situated in a dorsal root ganglion, which is just outside of the spinal cord. The neuron may terminate in the spinal cord or the brain, and then there's a long peripheral fiber that comes from a receptor. Interneuron or connector neurons, they're completely within the central nervous system, and they're connecting all types of links. They can connect sensory to motor neurons. Nerves. Nerves are a bundle of fibers. The nerves are bundles of fibers, and typical spinal nerve consists of motor or outgoing fibers and sensory or incoming fibers. These are the array of spinal nerves we have. We have 31 pair, 8 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and 1 coccyx. What is a synapse? A synapse is a space between the membrane of one axon to another dendrite. So this it's very complicated, and you may have reviewed it in anatomy, but more often a synapse is used, the faster the signal will pass through it, and transmission across depends on the chemical transmitter. Action potentials. Action potentials are threshold levels, which is basically the minimal level of stimulus. If something is facilitating, the excitatory stimulus will be, the threshold will be lowered, and if something is an inhibition, there will be an increase in the threshold level. And the stimulus could be from more than one neuron, and the sum total of the excitatory and inhibitory processes will determine the action potential.